Hi, my name's Clare Williams and I've been an instructor with Chesvale Dog Training Club for over 10 years and been training dogs myself for about 15 years. I've been competing in obedience for getting on for about 10 years, and today we're going to be talking about the novice recall. Now, it's known as the novice recall or the front recall, and it's featured in every obedience test from introductory through to novice. In the introductory, the test is done on the lead and there's no finish, but all other classes the test is done off lead and it's done with a finish. The exercise itself is fairly straightforward. The handler positions the dog in the sit or the down beside them. Then on the steward's command, the handler is asked to leave the dog. The handler will then be told to halt and turn and face the dog. Again, on the steward's command, the handler will be asked to call the dog. The dog should run briskly towards the handler and sit in front of the handler in what is known as the present. From the present, the handler will be instructed to finish their dog, and that is when the handler brings the dog round to the heel. It's on the left-hand side, and the dog will sit beside the handler, and that is what's known as the finish. There's actually two different types of finish. There's what's known as the English finish and the German finish. The English finish is when the dog goes from sitting in front of you, it moves round on your right hand side, behind your back and into a sit by your side. And the German finish is the dog immediately moves round to your left hand side and into a sit by your side. The judges are looking for a number of things within that exercise. The dog is required to stay in the weight when the handler leaves the dog, and the dog should not anticipate before the handler is told to call the dog. The dog should come briskly and in a straight line, preferably, rather than any sort of deviation for which the dog will be marked. And then the dog should sit straight in front of the handler and should then not move again or anticipate until the handler actually commands the dog to go into the finish. In the finish, the dog again should be sitting straight by the side. One of the common mistakes which the handler must not do is they mustn't move their feet when they move the dog into the finish position. So there's quite a number of areas where points could be lost, and as in all obedience exercises, the points are graded so that for a very slight deviation in the present it may be a quarter of a point, for a very major deviation it may be half a point. In the exercise up to and including the novice class, the handler can give as many commands as they like to the dog. From the point when they leave the dog, they can command the dog as they're leaving the dog, and then when they turn around to face the dog again, they can command the dog. When the dog's running towards them, they can use their commands to encourage the dog, and they can use hand signals as well to bring the dog into the present. All of that is allowable up to novice. In terms of some of the common mistakes that you find with this exercise, the major one is what's called anticipation. So that is when the dog is so keen to come to the handler that it may go on the steward's command, or it may even start to come towards the handler as the handler turns, waiting to call the dog. That's very common. And then the other most common errors are a crooked present, where the dog is not coming in straight and true, it's either coming into one side or the other. And also a crooked finish, where the dog by the handler's side, its bottom sticking out or it's hiding behind the handler and it's not sitting absolutely straight. And also in the present, what you find is quite often a dog will give a very big jump as it goes from sitting in front of the handler towards the handler's side, and that can also be penalised as well. In most of the classes, the recall is worth 10 points. Those points will normally be graded by the judge. They will have an idea. They may allocate 2 points to the weight and 2 points to present and 2 points to the finish, but that's down to each individual judge how they want to allocate those points. One other possible fault that you sometimes find is the temptation to readjust the dog's position. If they haven't come into the present quite straight, there is a temptation to either move back or just try and move the dog to come into a straight present. That will lose a whole lot more marks than just having the dog come into the present slightly crooked. Exactly the same on the finish as well. So there should be no readjustment of position. Once the dog has done what they've done, that's what you'll be marked on, but you will lose a lot more marks if you try to keep readjusting everything.